What's going on, everybody? Welcome into today's edition of the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we're talking about a Pascal Siakam trade to the Chicago Bulls. Reports are coming out that the Toronto Raptors could be open to moving the All-Star forward, so we're going to be breaking that down. And then also, we're going to be diving into a Julian Phillips Summer League breakdown, as he's actually been very impressive in his 2 games so far with the Chicago Bulls Summer League team. So those are the 2 topics on today's show, Pascal Siakam and then Julian Phillips at the back half. But guys, we are still in our sub-battle with our Boston Celtics channel here at Chat Sports. We did a little race to 100 subs starting off a couple days ago, and we're at 37, and they're at 43. So I'm asking you guys, help us out. Let's beat the Celtics. You know, maybe the Bulls didn't really beat the Celtics on the court this year, but let's beat them off the court. Hit that subscribe button to help us out here at the Bulls Report. But now, coming up on today's show, we're going to be discussing the possibility of the Bulls trading for Pascal Siakam. You know, the reports are starting to come out there that the Raptors are more than okay with moving on from the All-Star forward if they could get the right trade package. You know, they did lose Fred VanVleet in NBA free agency, so maybe they think they need to retool and kind of revamp this roster a little bit, and maybe one of the moves they can make would be moving off Pascal Siakam. But Pascal Siakam is one of the better forwards we have in the NBA today. The one thing that stands out to me with his game is his defensive versatility. I love that he can guard legitimately probably 1 through 4 and maybe 1 through 5 against certain lineups in the NBA. I mean, he has been a solid scorer for the Raptors as well. He's a very strong slasher, obviously just due to his 6'9", frame he has. Like, he can get to the rim very easily, and he's a very lengthy defender. But the one stat that sticks out to me right here is he's an underrated playmaker. We've seen the assists per game go up every single year over the last 4. And then this past year, damn near averaging almost 6 assists a game with 8 rebounds with 24 a night. But Siakam also has a ton of playoff experience with the Toronto Raptors. I mean, he was great in that NBA Finals game versus Golden State Warriors when the Raptors ended up winning it all. I mean, he was almost 20 a night on really solid efficiency, so he has that kind of playoff pedigree. And I love his style of play. Like, the archetype of being that 1 through 4, or being that defender who can guard 1 through 4, and then also that slasher that can get downhill, create for others. I mean, I have been pounding the table about this. Paint touches in the NBA, it's kind of a, you don't really think about it as like an important stat, but getting to the lane and then having the ability to kick out the wide open shooters, Siakam does that at a very high level. That's why we've seen the assists per game go up every single year. But I'll throw this question your guys' way, and then I'll get on my thoughts on how I think he'll fit in with the Chicago Bulls. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. So if your YouTube throws an ad break your way, answer this question. Would you trade for Pascal Siakam? Give me a T for trade or give me a P for pass. So this is the trade I cooked up. And I know this is the Bulls. They are going to have to move off Patrick Williams here. But honestly, if you had to view Patrick Williams almost max potential, I think it would be a player similar to Siakam in terms of style of play. But this is a trade I cooked up. We would be sending DeMar DeRozan back home to Toronto, give the Raptors a veteran leader there in that locker room, also still giving them a young piece in Patrick Williams. Then you would be throwing in 2 first-round picks. I just did the 2 for next season. Portland one that's a lottery protected most likely won't come to fruition just because Portland's most likely going to be sending Dame to Miami, so they're probably going to be a lottery team. But then the Bulls would be getting Pascal Siakam, obviously, and then also returning Bulls legend Otto Porter Jr. And outside of Damian Lillard and James Harden, Siakam is one of the more attainable stars on the market. Like, there hasn't been really any disgruntled stars demanding trades in the NBA this season. And besides, obviously, Harden and Lillard literally requesting trades from their respective franchises, Siakam is the most attainable. And there was this report that came out from Chris Haynes that said Siakam would not sign an extension with a team he gets traded to. So I do think maybe this could drive down the asking price for a Siakam because he's going to be a free agent next summer. So maybe teams could be looking around and saying, well, if he's not going to sign an extension, we're not going to give you a haul as big as you would want. Toronto, we know Masai Ujiri. I mean, he is a bit of a stiff when it comes to trade negotiations. So we'll see what the actual asking price ends up being for Siakam, but I did think this Chris Haynes report was very interesting. But how would the Bulls look if they did do that trade where it's DeMar DeRozan, Patrick Williams, and 2 firsts, and you are bringing in Pascal Siakam? This was the starting 5 that I cooked up with. Obviously, you could go in a different direction at point guard with Coby White, but I just think Javon Carter would fit better next to a scoring guard like Zach LaVine. who would be at the 2 spot. And then Torrey Craig, I think he would be at the starting 3 right now. I don't think, Julian Phillips or like a Dalen Terry at that wing spot. Or maybe you could go Caruso at the 2 and then move LaVine to the 3. But I put Torrey Craig there and then Siakam at that 4 and then Vooch still rounding out the 5. I mean, this is an okay lineup. Like the max potential on this group would probably be a second-round exit if you include the Bulls bench. And that's like max potential here for if, this team would live up to all that expectations. But my overall take with this team, they would be elite defensively. Like adding a guy like Siakam, and yeah, you would be moving off Patrick Williams, who's a tremendous defender. But with the Bulls' ability, if they were able to roll out Javon Carter, Alex Caruso, Siakam in that defensive backcourt, and even if you do bring back an Ayo Dosunmu, another point of attack defender, they would be fantastic on the defensive side of the floor. Like Caruso, again, I still think he's getting more underrated as a defender as the day goes by. And we know what Javon Carter is about defensively. And we know Siakam, just with his long arms and his huge frame and his ability to switch among pretty much every position in the NBA, the Bulls defensively would be great. And they would have great individual scores. Like Vooch, in terms of throwing the ball to him on the low block, say, go make a move, left or right shoulder. He's great at that. And then we obviously know what LaVine is all about offensively. Super efficient, 3-level scorer. Like, we know who LaVine is, but it's just how far would they go in the East? Like, would they even be able to compete in the East? I think they would still be around that play-in team. I do think they would get a little better. Obviously, you're moving off DeRozan and getting Siakam. I just think it would be a better fit with this team. But really, I mean, would the Bulls be able to compete in the East? I really doubt it. Well, I'll ask you guys, what are your opinions on Pascal Siakam? Answer this question. Pascal Siakam is a top blank player in the NBA. I'd probably throw him around top 25, top 30-ish. Maybe not that top 20 range just yet, but he's in that 25 to 30 range for me. But answer that question down in the comments section. Now, to wrap up today's show, we're going to be talking about a Julian Phillips breakdown, as he's been actually playing pretty damn solid during the Summer League period so far, and he actually agreed to terms with a contract with the Chicago Bulls, giving him a ton of guaranteed money for a second-round pick. Greenberg had the report, said the Chicago Bulls are signing rookie Julian Phillips to a 4-year deal with the team, or 4-year deal with a team option in the 4th year. Julian has a $5.7 million in guaranteed money in the deal, which is the second most guaranteed money by any second rounder in the 2023 NBA draft. Only second to Colby Jones, who went to the Sacramento Kings. But Julian Phillips so far in Summer League, I mean, these stats are pretty funny to look at just because the efficiency is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, 70% from the deck, 100% from downtown. He's only taken 3 threes in 2 games, but he's hit all of them, and 9 points a game and 4 rebounds. But it's defensively with Julian Phillips, which excites me so much. His defensive rating so far in the Summer League is 122. And just with his 6'8" frame and his damn near 7-foot wingspan, he can legitimately guard threes and fours at the NBA at an extremely high level. But my breakdown and my analysis of Julian is it's going to come down to the catch and shoot ability. Like a lot of these guys in the NBA, you can have a bag. You can be able to have that handle, have that Kyrie sauce to your game. It's going to come down to a lot of these guys to being able to be a true 3-and-D defender or 3-and-D player in the modern-day NBA, because we know how valuable those guys are. Like having a dude who can legitimately guard, 2 through 4, and then knock down a wide-open catch-and-shoot 3 and maybe a 37-38% clip is extremely valuable. Just with Julian's overall size, I think that's where his development kind of needs to take that path instead of maybe, working on your handle or anything. I just think it's 1,000 catch-and-shoot threes a day. That's just how I would do it if I was, Julian Phillips, player development coach. But if we're looking at recent draft picks in Bulls history, this is also why I'm a little concerned about, developing a guy like this who is kind of this, freaky athlete type of build. The Bulls' last 3 draft picks, besides Ayo in the second round, have they really lived up to that expectation? Like, obviously, we know Dalen Terry is struggling so far during Summer League. He hasn't lived up to that 18th overall pick. Ayo, I think he's lived up to the 38th overall pick. He's obviously been a little better. But Patrick Williams at 4, like, we know that 6'7" frame. Like, we had the same questions about Patrick Williams with the same questions we're having about Julian Phillips right now. It's just Williams went top 5, and he was a more highly touted prospect, and the Bulls really haven't, developed him, as much as I would have wanted to. I like where he's at right now, but it's kind of been a slow process. And then Marko Simonovic, we didn't really see him. He just got waived, and that was a second-round pick from a couple years ago. And then Coby White, like, he was better at the later half of last season, but again, he hasn't really lived up to the 7th overall pick. So this Bulls front office, has been a little shaky in their player development, and I don't really have a lot of confidence in them in terms of, developing Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry, like these long, rangy 3-and-D athletes. Like, we just haven't really seen it come to fruition. But I'll ask you guys this question. What is your confidence in the Bulls front office? I mean, right now I'm probably sitting at like a 3 or 4. Like, if we're just looking at the track record right here, there's nothing really to write home about. But, get down in the comment section and let me know. What is your confidence level in this Bulls front office? Scale it 1 through 10. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching today's edition of the Bulls Report. If you guys are new here, first time coming across the channel, hit that subscribe button. Help us out. I want to be your go-to Chicago Bulls YouTube channel. And we'll see you guys next time. Go Bulls.